Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Maintenance Alone 2584 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, my mum wants to invite my ex, whom I cheated on in my wedding, and my fiance is absolutely furious. Help. Kind of a wild title there, but I, 28 male, was a terrible person in the past, which I have moved on from. Used to drink a lot and had cheated on my ex, 27 female, countless times in our 3-year relationship. I don't know how she stuck with me for so long. So one day she found out I was cheating again and broke things up, which I don't blame her for. I was cut off by my family, which was heartbreaking. I eventually improved myself, got in therapy, and eventually apologized and reconciled with my family. I found out my mother and my ex were still in contact, which I didn't mind. They were close even when I was with her. My family invites my ex to family gatherings as her family is, let's say, not that good, which again, I don't care. We both are civil and don't interact much. Eventually, I met a new girl, 28 female, and 1 year later, I'm engaged to her. Yeah, and she knows how I was in the past as I had told her. We're planning a wedding to host only close friends and family. Then a problem arrives that my mother, who's close with my ex, wants to invite her to the wedding. My fiance is absolutely furious, and the reason my mother's giving is that it's a family event. Honestly, I don't want her to be in my wedding too. I called her to talk about it and she told me the same damn thing. She doesn't want to be in my wedding, but my mother's insisting, which is infuriating. My mother is still saying she won't come if my ex isn't coming, and my fiance had arguments with her. I am seriously thinking of not inviting her, but if she doesn't come, I'm afraid that I might be cut off from my family again. This is so infuriating. Quite simply, your mum is the one making the issue here. You don't want her at the wedding. Bride doesn't want her at the wedding. She doesn't want to be at the wedding. So your mum's trying to force this issue, and you can't let her keep this whole family thing keeping you sort of hostage at your own wedding. So the answer is simply saying to your mum, I'm afraid she's not coming, and I would love you to still attend, but if you choose not to, then that's your choice. But Aqua says it's your wedding, not your mum's wedding. Tell your mum outright. She doesn't want to come. I don't want her to come. Fiance doesn't want her to come. Stop being weird about it and let it go. Do not invite her. It's a weird entitlement when parents dictate guest lists anyway. Unless they are paying, they get no say. If they are paying, you have a right to draw boundaries. Good luck. If your mum is that hung up on it, maybe you should have let her go too. Zookeeper says not the arsehole. Your mother appears to be hell-bent on punishing you for the rest of your life by making you interact with your ex on every occasion she can. Or she's so emotionally enmeshed with your ex, she's willing to lose a son, a daughter-in-law, and contact with any children you may have in the future over this. Time to point out to her that it's not just you she is upsetting, it is your fiancé, and that there may be long-term consequences to this. In the final analysis, who do you want a relationship with? Your fiancé or your family? And in terms of the family, make quite sure you get the message out there to the rest of the family that you are not disinviting your mother, but that her insistence on bringing your ex to your wedding is causing a great deal of distress and hurt to your fiancé, and that, as a husband, you must support her, especially at her wedding. TK says not the arsehole. Your mother is the one holding the wedding hostage. No one, including your ex, thinks she should go. Your mother is alone in this. If this is a hill to die on, it's a stupid one. Honor her ultimatum and let her stay home over this. She thinks you'll cave. Unless you're leaving something out, no one will cut ties with you, but possibly her. Again, over something stupid. P.S. Your mother hasn't forgiven your cheating on your ex. She is not past it. And one final comment from Top Dog, who says stories about parents like this really annoy me. Mums need to stop being friends with their kids' ex-partners when the kid moves on. And if they want to be the weird parent that won't let go of their kid's ex, they should not let it destroy their relationship with their child's new partner. It is petty and disgusting. So Opie added the first update and said, honestly, I got overwhelmed with the responses. Thank you to everyone who replied. As most of you said, I grew a spine and talked to my mother with me and my fiance sitting down. She wouldn't drop it, saying she doesn't like my fiance. Well, my fiance yelled at her, so she's not coming to my wedding anymore. I sent to all the wedding guests explaining the situation, that my mother wants to invite my ex to my wedding, and basically, most of them are on my side. Those who said I'm ungrateful, let's just say they're uninvited and blocked. My brother, 34 male, called me to say that I did the right thing, which was a relief. Going further, I would probably go low contact with my mother. Mike's called me and my fiance, talked to her on the speaker, and she apologized and said she said no to my mother and won't drop it. I said okay, and of course she's not invited. My father said he's not coming too if his wife is not coming, which is valid. So the wedding is actually small with 50 people, but the planned reception is huge with 150 people, which my father is throwing on my behalf. My mother will be there, so there might be drama. Edit. Should have added my father and father-in-law both are throwing the reception together. I'll have security just in case in the wedding. GD Rom says, I'm glad you put your foot down. Since your father is hosting for the reception, are you sure he won't cancel it from being pressured by your mother? Do you have a backup plan just in case? Opie says, father said mother won't do anything stupid at reception, and ex is not invited in the reception. Remarkable Pair says, so your dad's not going to his own son's wedding because his wife is will go to the reception looking like a loser who didn't go to his own son's wedding. Got it. Opie says, I don't know. My brothers don't have close relationship with dad, to be honest. I'm the favorite child who was spoiled rotten by him. That was the reason I was terrible in the past. A few days later, Opie added another update and said mother and father aren't coming to the reception too. So I had a talk with father-in-law and fiance about the situation and all, and my father-in-law will alone cover the cost of the reception. I offered some money to him, but he refused, saying I am like his son, which made me tear up. And my father and father-in-law had a shouting match on the phone about it, so father and mother aren't coming to the reception anymore. Fiance is happy, and I'm happy that our wedding and reception area are going to be drama-free. We will definitely have security there, but it's going to be hard explaining to everyone what happened, and many people are going to bail out of the wedding. I haven't talked to them since, and we'll probably contact father after the wedding and reception are over. Last night, I'm going to be honest, I cried like a baby that my mother and father aren't going to be there. But my fiance comforted me, probably the most amazing woman I met. Can't wait to spend my life with her, and I failed my PhD exam, lol. Results came a few hours ago. I'm going to try afterwards. Going forward, I'm probably going to be low contact with father and no contact with mother. Tofu T says, man, life's thrown some wild curveballs at you. Keep your chin up. Remember, at the end of the day, it's about you and your amazing fiance. Wishing you both a drama-free and lovely day. MCA says, and don't contact your father after your wedding. Let him reach out to you. He chose not to attend. Opie simply replied okay, and Lucky says, Opie, that advice is solid. Don't bow down to your parents. Do not reach out first. Let them come to you. And absolutely, they are not allowed back in your lives until they give a heartfelt apology to your wife. That should be the first step. In fact, the phone call should go something like this. And at some point later, Opie comes in with the final update and says, I'm married now and she's the most wonderful woman I could have gotten. So yesterday, I got married. It was the happiest day of my life, but yeah, it sucked not having my parents there, whom I thought wouldn't go this much against me. They didn't even come to the reception too. I honestly cried after the reception, but my fiance was understanding and comforted me. I couldn't have asked for a better half than her. My ex had sent a message of congratulations after the wedding, which I replied with thanks. After the wedding, I still haven't contacted my parents, but father had sent an air fryer as a wedding gift to my address, which is like an appliance, so gonna use it. Reception was awesome too. Thanks to y'all for those wonderful comments supporting and suggesting to me. I honestly thought I don't deserve all this due to how terrible I was in the past, but people can change. If you have done something wrong in the past, don't let it define yourself. Keep it in your mind and move on. You can change. Playful Rainbow says good for you. Growth is uncomfortable and messy, but you pushed through it. You held firm on boundaries, owned your past, and chose love built on mutual respect. That's real redemption. And hey, enjoy your air fryer. It's a petty piece in appliance form. Willing Lemon says well done on your self-awareness, admitting fault and consciously trying to be a better person. Unfortunately, there will be doubters and negative people. Ignore them and just keep making positive changes. I'm sorry about your family. I think even your ex saw it as inappropriate for her to attend. Your mum has a lot of issues, and if she was truly a friend or cared for your ex, she wouldn't want her at your wedding. It would have created drama that your ex would have been in the spotlight/firing line. Your mum not attending your wedding is just a symptom of the bigger relationship issues. But not attending was the final nail. There was a time when she could witness you truly being happy. It's like she can't forgive you for something you did to someone else. She's holding on to something that everyone else has moved on from. I guess this is a hill. She hasn't even given your wife a fair chance. Go for therapy and embrace your wife's family. They sound great. Congratulations. When you grow, learn, and work on your character, you deserve to be happy. Good luck. Opie says, yeah, she's a good person. I brought drama into X's life. Glad she's moved on now, and I'm not there. I have a new half to focus on. And there was quite a few comments saying, if OP was the golden child in this, imagine how they treated the other brother. Holy moly. And OP, a lot of people would latch onto that comment as well, saying, that he was using that as an excuse for his past behavior, which is not on. Whilst many people were saying, glad he has grown himself, owned up, and taken responsibility for his past, admitted his faults, and hopefully grown from this. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Specific Purpose 525 from the Am I Overreacting subreddit. And it says, Am I overreacting? My friend wants me to remove my piercings for her engagement party/wedding photos. I'm worried that I may be overreacting in this situation. I would be okay with removing the piercings if I knew I'd be able to get them back in afterwards, which I'm worried is a selfish mindset to have when my friend is getting married. But honestly, how quickly she's willing to replace me just hurts a lot. Am I overreacting? And then OP adds the text messages which started this situation. They said, hi, weird question, but are you able to remove your piercings, or do they kinda have to stay in? OP replied saying, am I able to remove them at all? She replied saying, I mean, would you be able to take them out for a few hours and then put them back in when you get home? OP said, well, for some of them I can take them out for however long and then just put them back in, to be honest. I'm not too sure because I never really take my piercings out anyways, but I took my nose ring out once for a few hours and I wasn't able to put it back in myself. But the piercings in my lobes I can pretty much leave out for however long. They replied, what about other piercings in your ears? Sorry, I'm not sure what their names are. OP said, well, the industrial piercing, the little bar thingy, I can't really take out at all because it's pretty fresh, and all the other ones I'm really not sure. I've never had any of them out for an extended period really. They replied saying, if you could find out, I'd appreciate that. The reason I'm asking is because of the engagement party. I'm just not really into the idea of someone being in my pictures if they got a lot of piercings. So I was just curious if you could take them out for the few hours the party's on, and then put them back in once you are home. OP says, is it just the ones in my face you want me to take out? The piercings closing really depends on the person. I think some people's close really fast and others don't, but I remember my nose piercing closed up pretty fast, and I think the lip piercing would close pretty fast too. Is it just the ones in my face you want me to take out? They replied saying, I prefer if you took all of them out because we are planning on doing some pictures to the side as well, so that means your ears would be visible. I mean, if you want to just leave the lobes in, that's okay, but all the other ones you have going up to your ear, and especially the bar, I wouldn't want in the photos. OP says I'll look online and see if I'm able to take them out for the pictures. How long will the pictures take? Because maybe the piercings coming out would be fine. Well, it's kind of going to be an all-day thing. OP says that's why I asked if you could take them out for a few hours. And OP just said, okay, I understand. OP says it's nothing against you, just to clarify. I just don't want someone with a lot of piercings in my pictures because I feel like it might ruin the aesthetic I'm going for. But OP said, If I'm not able to take them out, what will happen then? They said, oh dear, is getting them pierced again an option? If you're not able to get the piercings back in. Opie says it is an option. It would just cost a lot of money getting my piercings done again. They said, can you afford it? Opie said, I probably can. I would just rather not have to get all my piercings done again, but again, they might not even close, and I might be able to take them out and have no problems, but I really think it depends on the person. They said, do you not research those piercings before you get them? If you could find out, I'd appreciate it because I really don't want to exclude you from the photos. And Opie replied simply, what do you mean? They said, if you can't or won't take the piercings out, then I'm going to have to leave you out of the photos. And I'll probably have to replace you as a bridesmaid because I was assuming you'll be able to take them out when I made you bridesmaid. And I really just don't want that stuff in my pictures. Opie said, well, I'll definitely find out. I don't want to ruin your pictures or anything. They replied saying, I know that. I was hoping you would just be willing to remove them. I didn't think getting them pierced again or whatever would be something you'd be unwilling to do. Opie says, that's just a very expensive thing to ask me to do. I don't want to make it seem like my piercings are more important than your wedding or anything. He said, then I'm not understanding why you can't just take them out. Your friend is getting married. This is a once in a lifetime thing, and now it's being made difficult because you're refusing to take out some jewelry. Opie said, I never said I refused to take them out. I just need to find out roughly how long I can keep them out for. He said, why does it matter? I'm getting married. I wouldn't have made you a bridesmaid if I thought this was going to be a big deal. I'd sincerely appreciate it if you could find a way around this whole piercing thing once again. Nothing to do with you. I just don't want that aesthetic in my photos. Opie said, I just feel like it's not a very fair thing to expect of someone. Those piercings cost money. They were very expensive. Telling me to just get them done again isn't very helpful. It's your wedding and I want you to be happy, but your attitude toward this hasn't felt great. They said, if you want me to be happy, then you'll find a way around it. Going to be a big deal. I'd sincerely appreciate it if you could find a way around this whole piercing thing once again. Nothing to do with you. I just don't want that aesthetic in my photos. And Opie replies the last time saying, I just feel like it's not a very fair thing to expect of someone if these piercings cost money. They were very expensive. Telling me to just get them done isn't very helpful. It's your wedding and I want you to be happy, but your attitude towards this hasn't felt great. Then they reply one more time saying, you want me to be happy, then you'll find a way around it. Let me know soon in case I need to find a replacement for you. I really never understand people like this, stories like this. This is your wedding. It keeps going on about the wedding. You know, it's a typical Bridezilla story, right? But typical wedding, surely you'd want your best friend there, the person who they are, piercings, tattoos, whatever and all. Your special day, you want your best people around you. You want the memories, the photos with those people in it, piercings and all, because that's who they are. And for me, I was noping out early in that conversation and just kind of saying, you know, well, replace me then. But at the same time, I'm glad OP did carry on with that conversation because it just showed that she got more and more weird about it, more and more hostile about it, revealing her whole ass. And quite frankly, the way that she talked to you in that situation, I'd be saying, you know, I just won't bother coming to the wedding. You know, this ain't worth my fucking time. Dismissive of the cost of getting everything re-pierced, just staying to do it anyway. That's just so wild. Let alone the pain. I know everyone's got different pain thresholds, but holy moly, I had my eyebrow pierced when I was younger and it wasn't the worst pain in the world, but it weren't exactly comfortable either. But I'd seriously be taking a step back from this relationship and saying, has there been a pattern in this in the past? Or is it just Bridezilla coming out? Either way, it's not someone who I'd want to really associate with. But Mo says, as someone who has tattoos and piercings, she absolutely has no clue what's involved with having them. They're expensive and painful to redo, and you have to go through the entire healing process again. For a few hours so she can get some pics. I had my nose ring in for years and it closed up after an hour. Same with my septum. I had to have both redone due to jobs making me take them out. I refuse to accept a job that requires that again. Fuck her, you're not the asshole here. She is. Threatening to exclude you because you don't fit her aesthetic is just giving Bridezilla spoiled brat to me. I wouldn't even attend a wedding where either party had that attitude towards people they consider friends. Insatiable says, when the friend asked you, did you not do any research on these before you got them? I got so irritated. I would have said, if you knew you were going to get married and might want an aesthetic, why didn't you choose your friends more carefully? Then block. For real, that's bizarro bridezilla territory. Just re-pierce them. My industrial alone was like $300, and I babied it for a year for it to finally heal up properly. It's not just the money, it's the time and effort it takes to avoid infection and keloids, because that's your aesthetic. Drea says, hey, former wedding planner here, giving a +1 the bridezilla assessment. OP, this is totally unreasonable request, and the fact that she is already being this unreasonable before the engagement party. Just know. It's not even about the piercings, it's about the my wedding is more important than anything, and it's your job to meet my every whim mindset. Big yikes. I highly encourage you to use this opportunity to bow out of the bridesmaid position, because an attitude like this does not get better as the wedding planning process progresses. It gets so much worse. Save yourself from the heaping pile of drama this girl is cooking. Girls like this get straight up nasty as the day approaches, and that entire bridal party will be at each other's throats before long. Run, girl. Oh, wedding planners, I bet they've got some stories. Tasty Violinist says, this is golden advice right here. If she's willing to dump you over piercings, imagine what she'd do when the real wedding stress hits. A good friend would find a way to make it work, not issue ultimatums. Blonde with a boxer says, a good friend wouldn't give a damn about piercings in the first place. And same as above. I lost my nose ring and it closed super fast. Then I had to wait about 2 months for it to completely heal over before I could get it re-pierced again. And don't even get me started on the industrial. That one's a B. If you're as clueless as me, apparently industrial is like the top of the ear, and it goes like there's 2 holes from one side to the other. In the picture, it's got like a bar going from one side to the other, but some people have chains and all sorts. Opie continues, had to have it done thrice because I have small ears and there was a problem from the start. Now I have a chain instead of a barbell. I wasn't willing to let it go because it looks pretty to me. But yeah, waiting months before you can pierce it again, plus the money, $300, seriously, I paid around 60 euros. Still expensive for me though. Just for some pictures and aesthetic. Yeah, no. Daisy Ruby says, do any of the other bridesmaids have piercings? Has she asked them to remove them? Or tattoos? Has she asked them to cover up? You need to know if she's just being funny with you. It's not like you can't style your hair to cover ear piercings. The entitlement is wild. Why ask right before? Not when she was asking you. Honestly, I'd just say you don't want to be a bridesmaid anymore and save yourself the headache. Opie says she was originally going to make her sister a bridesmaid but then decided against it because her sister has a lot of tattoos on her arms. I don't think it's anything to do with me personally. She just doesn't like that type of style. As for the other bridesmaids, the only piercings they have as far as I know are their earlobes. One of them also has a nose stud, but I'm not sure what she's going to do about that. So Opie came back in with an update and said, hello everyone, hopefully people can find this update because I'm not really sure how this app works, to be honest. I just wanted to say that the post got a lot more comments than I was expecting, and I tried to read through and reply to a lot of them, but it was very difficult. I still really appreciate the kind words though. This entire interaction was a lot more aggressive than I was expecting it to be, on my part and on her part, because I'm usually not a confrontational person, so this was just a lot for me. But long story short, I'm not going to the wedding. This is a definite end to our friendship, but I ultimately do feel like it was something that needed to happen, as I can now acknowledge that she was basically treating me like a doormat. The name blurred out in the last screenshot as my boyfriend's name, as I wanted to keep those details private. Due to this new development, I'm thinking of going and getting myself a new piercing. Once again, thank you, because there's been an overwhelming amount of support from most people. I was not expecting this to turn into a big deal as it did. Thank you a lot. And then the text messages start. Opie started off by saying, hey, just letting you know I won't be going to the engagement party or the wedding. You can find a replacement for me. They said, I really hope you're joking with me because what the fuck? You being serious? Opie says, yeah, I am. We aren't going to find an option we're both happy with, so I feel like you finding a new bridesmaid is just the easier way to do it. I'm not really willing to take my piercings out. You don't want someone with piercings in your photos. Just keep me out of the entire thing. They replied saying, I'm very sorry, but I thought my friend wouldn't have a problem removing piercings for my wedding. Do you not realize how insane you're acting? You're going to drop out of my wedding because I asked you to remove some jewelry. Are you well? Cheeky bastard. Opie said, I'm extremely well, and they replied saying, you're going to drop out of my wedding because I asked you to remove some jewelry. You're missing my entire point with this. Opie says, I have 15 piercings. Do you have any idea how much money it would cost to get all of them pierced again? Unless you're going to offer to pay me for the damage, they aren't coming out, and quite frankly, even if you did offer to pay me, the answer would still be no. I could get scarring, infections, and it's just extremely painful getting piercings done again. This is just something I'm not willing to do. Find a replacement. Opie says, you clearly aren't because you're acting like a psychotic bitch. I'm extremely well. Since when did piercings hold more value over one of your friends? Are you seriously that materialistic? I only made you a bridesmaid because I felt bad for you anyway. I'm glad you showed me what a selfish bitch you are now, because I can't even imagine having someone like you at my wedding. Opie replies saying, unless you're going to offer to pay me for the damage, they aren't coming out. Opie says, I have a wedding to pay for, and you want me to reimburse you for your shitty life decisions. You chose to get the piercings. How you afford to get them back, it doesn't concern me, doll. I only made you a bridesmaid because I felt bad for you anyway. Opie says, you don't have to start insulting me just because someone has said no to you for once in your life. I quite honestly could not give a single fuck if you feel bad for me, to be honest. Don't start calling me shit just because you're on an ego trip. Genuinely fix whatever the fuck's wrong with you, because you're going to drive away every single person in your life eventually if you keep acting this way. I've explained myself over and over again, and if you're choosing to not understand where I'm coming from, there's nothing I can do about it. You're too self-absorbed to even fathom something that doesn't affect you directly. They replied saying, you have the audacity to call me self-absorbed when you aren't showing up to my wedding because I asked you to take out a few piercings. You're a selfish bitch, and you know you are. You are actually laughable. Don't want or need someone like you at my wedding, and since you're not coming, tell D he's uninvited too. Ruining the occasion for your boyfriend as well because you're a selfish little girl. Opie says, I've explained myself over and over again, and if you're choosing to not understand where I'm coming from, there's nothing I can do about it. You're too self-absorbed to even fathom something that doesn't affect you directly. And then they repeated that last comment about the selfish little girl again. And it always makes me wonder after in these stories, what was the relationship between these two like? What was the friendship like before this wedding came up? Did she literally flip and become a bridezilla? You know, it's possible. We've seen it in stories in the past. Is the friendship always been like this? Always this expectation from you to change or be someone else to suit her needs? Because again, it's so wild that you just don't want your friend there. Piercings, tattoos, whatever and all, just stood next to you on your day, being your amazing friend. It's so crazy. And OP's right, she's just going to continue to push away people closest to her with that kind of attitude. But Elegant Drummer says, good for you, OP. Very curious about your boyfriend though. Was he playing some type of role in the wedding, or was he just your guest? Bride uninviting him if he was coming as your +1 is rather bizarre, because why else would he go if you weren't? Sounds like it's not a great loss on your end, OP. OP says I was bringing him as my +1. He didn't have any role in the wedding. He wouldn't really know anyone there except maybe 2 or 3 people. See, that makes it even more bizarre, doesn't it? Like the bride's thought process about her own wedding. Look, the guy's only turning up because OP is going. And she's like, oh, you're ruining this occasion for him. He's looking forward to it so much as well. Shame. Like, what? Capo K says, the way I'd be posting these on Facebook, Instagram, tagging her fiance and her family. Like your first post. Already baffling on her end. This one? Whatever she's smoking, I think we should all avoid. Good riddance. What piercings are you thinking next? That's exciting. Opie says, to be honest, I just want her away from me and I'll be happy. I was thinking of getting my other tragus done. Out of all the piercings I have, I had the most pleasant healing experience with a tragus. Lol. I don't want anything that's super demanding since I'm already dealing with the healing process of my industrial. Okay, Illustrator says, what all do you have pierced? Feel free to leave out intimate ones. I'm just curious. I have 11 tattoos and 16 piercings. You can come to my wedding. I mean, it already happened, but I could move on for you so you could go. Opie says, here's all the piercings I have. I appreciate the invite to your wedding. Tribal low piercing on both ears, industrial piercing in one ear, Daith in both ears, Helix in both ears, Tragus in one ear, Rook in both ears, Anti-Tragus in one ear, double nose piercing, lip piercing. I mean, I've probably seen all these piercings in real life, but I've never heard them named before. Wild. Okola says, okay, but now I want to see how you've managed to fit a Rook, Daith, and Industrial on your ear. Sarcasm says, my wedding, my wedding, my wedding. Don't you know that Earth revolves around her wedding and you should alter your life around it? My favourite was, since when did piercings hold more value over one of your friends? Are you seriously that materialistic? Says the one who's going to exclude you from pictures because of your piercing aesthetic. I would say sorry you lost a friend, but you didn't. And I think that is absolutely it. Was that a true friend in the end? But the entitlement that comes out in Bridezilla sometimes, holy moly. I do like a text exchange once in a while in a story. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Have you ever had your own little bit of wedding drama? Seen it perhaps? Don't forget to share it over on r/Mark Narrations if you choose to do so. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.